to our advanced filters and how the filters will change. And then we'll spend the back half of this webinar talking about the ticketing process, how to manage your tickets, how to resolve tickets, and how to create tickets. So we got a lot to cover. And then we'll obviously have some time at the end for Q&A, which we have for all of these webinars. I'm joined by Brian Malott and Rob Angel, so we'll all field your questions at the end. If you do have questions throughout the webinar, you can either drop them in the chat or jot them down, and we'll get to you when we get to the Q&A session at the end. So if any questions that pop up, either drop them in the chat or keep them locked and loaded. We'll do the raise hand feature and unmute folks at will, so we can make sure we address all your questions. Again, thank you for being here for our bi-weekly webinar series. This is the fourth one we've had since we started this series back up. Gotten great feedback so far, so we're excited about this, especially with this new feature essentially releasing today. So again, if this is your first time in one of the webinars, I'm Mark Lennox. I'm the product education manager for Freedom Forever. And I handle all the webinars, creation of video content and collateral for Freedom. So this is one of the ways I can interact with our sales reps, and we're excited for these webinars on this bi-weekly basis because we've gotten some really good responses, and attendance has been great. So we thank you for joining us. Again, just to go over a quick agenda, we're going to talk about the new projects dashboard, have an overview of all the ins and outs of the facelift for that feature, including how to create and remove and sort your columns. Then we'll talk about the new widgets at the top, the ones that are preset and ones that you can create on your own. Then we'll spend some time, going through those advanced filters and making sure you know how to save those widgets at the top. We'll go through an overview of tickets, how to resolve your tickets, how to create and track them, and some of the best practices around ticketing. And again, we'll have some Q&A at the end. So if you haven't logged into Lightspeed, you probably have not seen the updates to the projects dashboard. So let's take a quick overview of what it looked like in the classic version. So this is the classic dashboard with your project name, status, what stage it's at, branch, when it was created and submitted. And then you could click the project or the eyeball on the right-hand side and open up those project details. Along the top, you had our widgets for sold, installed, scope of work confirmed, any pending tasks. So again, this is going to get a brand new look and feel that is similar to this. So this is what your project's dashboard will look like now. There are 4 sales preset widgets at the top for things that are commonly used. This could grow as this new portal grows. And then you'll see a couple that I've created myself. But the new look and feel of this project's dashboard has a lot more information and is more customizable and sortable to make it more user-friendly and to really allow you to customize it. So I'm going to switch over to the live demonstration portion of this and go over some of the ins and outs of this new dashboard. So bear with me for a moment while we switch over to live demo. I'm going to switch my share and launch Lightspeed, our portal. Okay, so I am now logged into Lightspeed in my sales rep account, where I have a bunch of test projects that I've created. And you'll see the 4 sales preset widgets at the top for scope of work pending approval. Projects that are in support, any of these are clickable, so you can click these widgets and it will sort by those projects. Projects that have a denied scope of work, and projects that are pending site audit schedule. So as you can see here, the look of the projects dashboard has changed dramatically, where there's a lot more information, a much cleaner look. Clicking on any one of these projects will open up the project and give you your individual project dashboard. You can scroll to the left and right and see any additional details. And then as you hover over the top columns, you can sort by ascending or descending. And then each one of these columns will have the 3 dots. These 3 dots allow you to sort again by ascending or descending. You can now hide columns or add additional columns to your column rows. The first feature I want to show you is the drag and drop feature. So before, it was the old projects dashboard was what you saw is what you get. Now, if I want to reorder any of these into the order that I see fit, like say I want to see my system size a little bit closer to the front, I can drag that and it will drop into the location where I let go. So these are all now drag and drop. If, for instance, I don't want to see which branch I sold this out of, I can click the 3 dots and hide that column and it will drop off the end. Again, scrolling to the left and right, you can see all these additional options. If I want to add a column that was just hidden, I can click at any point, click any one of these 3 dots and click show columns. The column that I just hid was the branch column. So when I click show columns, it's going to bring up a list of columns for me. And I'm going to search for branch and check that back. Once I click away, anytime you add a column to the view, it's going to drop it on the right-hand side. So then I can click and drag that back to its original location or leave it at the end. So you can see here now, we show automatically the modules and which utility is active on that project. But if I want to see which inverters I've used for this project, I'll click the 3 dots and choose show columns again. And I will search for inverters. That's not going to be one of my active columns. I'll check the box for that. And I want that inverters column to show up right next to my modules. So now I'll know if I was using the Enphase or Solar Edge. And that's going to show up on my taskbar here. So again, this bar is now fully customizable. You can choose which columns you want, which ones you want to see, which ones you don't want to see. That's completely up to you. Also, I want to demo, for instance, if you want to just sort by which utility you were in, or choose sort by ascending, and it will sort all of my projects that are specific to that utility. I will sort by system size. And then anytime you choose one of these sorting columns, whether it's ascending or descending, if you want to return it to its original state, you can click the 3 dots and choose unsort. And that's going to return it to its original state. So again, I'm going to scroll back up to the top here and briefly go over these widgets. That this used to be a full bar with sold, installed. Now we have these 4 that are default for every sales rep. So how do I add my own widgets here? So what I'm going to do is go to my advanced filters. Any advanced filter that you save and keep in your saved filters can be activated as one of your widgets. So I'm going to choose for this, I'm going to choose financing. And I want to see all of my cash projects. So I have financing, primary finance, and I'll choose cash, and I will apply that filter. So now I have this filter applied. It's only going to show me cash projects that I have as part of my projects dashboard. And I want to save that filter. So I will call that cash projects. I'm going to leave that as a private filter only for me. If you're a dealer manager, you can create some of these filters that are for the full dealership, but I'm going to leave this as private and click save. So now that filter has been applied and I can only see my cash projects. I'm going to turn that filter off and then choose open saved filter. Any filters that you've saved in the past are going to show up in your saved filter. If I want to create this particular filter as a widget, I will hover over to the star. Once I star that and close my open saved filters, that's going to show up as a permanent widget on the upper right-hand side. So again, not only is your project's dashboard fully customizable here, but you can create the advanced filters that you most commonly use, save them, and add them to your project's dashboard widgets at the top of the page. So that's a huge facelift and a bunch of new features that are now part of our new project's dashboard. A massive upgrade, and hopefully something that you're able to take advantage of. Once you refresh Lightspeed, you should be able to see this as your new project's dashboard. Okay, So the remaining portion of this webinar, I know it's a lot to go over with these new features, but we're going to talk about tickets. We're going to talk about the ticketing process, how to access your tickets, how to resolve them, how to create a ticket, and some of the best practices. So let's talk about the two different types of tickets that there are. The two different types of tickets are ops tickets and sales tickets. Ops tickets are tickets that are created by Freedom Forever. They are created by Freedom and sales admin users. They can be used to block tasks. These are tickets that are resolved on the ops side. They need to be resolved on Freedom's end. The other type of tickets are sales tickets, either tickets that you've created or ones that have been assigned to you that are routed directly to the sales representative. So tickets are created by account management, processing, or interconnection. They can also be used to block tasks. Sales tickets offer resolution options. And on the next slide, we will go over like what a ticket looks like and what the resolution options look like and some of the best practices for working with tickets. So these are the two different types of tickets. And now this is an example of what it looks like when you open up your project and you've opened a ticket and how to resolve that ticket. So in order to get to your tickets, you'll open up a project. You can either, on your snapshot screen, you'll see any open tickets that are available, or you can navigate to the tickets tab. Once you locate tickets that have that, quote, sales action needed, you click on them and it's going to open up a pop-up window, a secondary window with a description of the ticket, resolution options, and the ability to add attachments. So if generally there typically are a couple of resolution options, and if none of the resolution options are what satisfies that ticket, you can click other and add notes. But in order for a ticket to move back to ops, it has to be clicked mark as complete. So for this ticket example, it's for a scope of work approval and for a change order. So if in this instance, if it was approved, you would check this resolution option and choose mark complete. If the alternative option, a change order has been requested in the dealer portal that reflects additional changes, this will send out additional documents. That's what will happen if you choose that option. If not, if any of these aren't an example of what is available as an option, you would click other, add notes to that ticket, and make sure you click mark as complete so that it gets sent back to the right location. So again, we're going to swap over to a live demo so I can show you how to resolve a ticket, and then we obviously where tickets are located, and then we'll spend some time creating a ticket as well. So back at Lightspeed, I'm going to navigate to one of my projects, and in this example, I have owner does not match the name on title from the contract. So I'm on the snapshot screen right now, and I can see open tickets for sales action needed. And I can also click on the tickets tab and see whatever sales action needed tickets are open here. So once I click on that ticket, it's going to again open up that third window with my resolution option or other. So in this instance, I'm going to upload a version of the proof of ownership. So I'm going to choose this as my option. And in this instance, there is an attachment that goes along with it. So I have a proof of ownership document that I've dragged and dropped into this window, but you can also click browse and navigate to that file on your computer or on your tablet and attach it directly to this ticket. So I'm going to browse and choose proof of ownership. And I have that file attached now. And once that's complete, I'm going to mark this ticket as complete. Once you show that that ticket's been marked as complete, it changes from sales action needed to ops action needed. So I have attached the document necessary, chosen the correct resolution option, and sent that information back to ops. When I close this window, if I refresh this tickets page, it will now show as an ops action needed. So that's how you resolve a ticket, by navigating to one of your projects. But what do you do if you need to create a ticket? So in the event that you need to create a ticket, there are two ways to do it. I can either return back to my tickets tab and choose create ticket, or on the upper right hand side of any project, I can click take action and create a ticket. When your create a ticket window opens, the first option you have is to choose a reason, and that is a required option with a drop down of a variety of different reasons for why you would need to create a ticket. For this specific example, I'm going to choose scheduling request and say, homeowner needs site survey rescheduled. So that's the summary that's also required. And then there's a box to provide a brief description that also is required. So I'm going to give them the reason why the ticket's there and also provide some details for when they can schedule it. If there are any files I need to attach to that, I can drag the same process, drag and drop those files here. And once I have my description, my summary, and the reason for the ticket and priority level assigned, I'm going to create that ticket. After that ticket's been created, we're going to see homeowner needs site survey scheduled. Because I submitted that ticket, it's already been sent to ops, and the notes tab on the right-hand side has changed as well. On the right-hand side of your notes, you can also show any notes for ticket-related items, and if you click that tab, it will sort by anything related to those tickets. So that is how you navigate to your tickets tab, how to create a ticket, and how to resolve a ticket. Which brings us to our Q&A portion. So I'm going to open up the chat now and find out if anyone's got any good questions. Also, open up the participants, and if you do have any questions that you wanted to ask live, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you. There should be a raise hand option if you have any questions. Okay, so just to answer a question, all of our webinars are recorded. We typically send these out a couple hours after they complete. We, edit out some of the beginning and end where we're waiting for folks to jump into the waiting room, but we do send these out typically day of, so there will be a copy of this, send it out. Okay, so one of the questions in the chat is, can that proof of ownership be a screenshot of a county tax appraisal district page? So I'm going to defer to my fearless leaders, Brian and Rob, if one of you guys want to field that question. Can it be a screenshot of the county tax appraisal?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually just shot that question over to our account management team to get the correct answer there. So I'll pending an answer on that. I'll get back to you. Typically, the easiest thing to get would be like a mortgage statement from the customer. They get those monthly. But yeah, I'll get back to you on a screenshot of the district page.
Okay. Another question is, will there be a notes option on call tickets now? That would be very helpful. So if I understand your question correctly, you're asking for the ability to add notes even if you don't choose other. Is that correct? Okay. So will there eventually be the option to add notes to a ticket resolution even if you don't choose other? Rob or Brian? I think that's
interesting feedback. The reason why we don't have notes available for sales tickets is that people sometimes would leave us a note rather than marking the ticket as resolved. And so we were getting, sales reps were leaving us notes, not clicking the ticket as resolved, and then it wasn't falling into anyone's bucket to review that ticket, scrub it out, and respond anyway. So the best practice would be, if you need to leave us a note, click that other section, provide the note that you have for us, and then click that. That'll ping it back over to ops to where they can read your note. If it's what we need to resolve the ticket, that would be great. Another thing that you can do in lieu of just leaving a note on that ticket would be to utilize the chat feature for Sales Concierge, and that would be another way to get your question over to our ops team.
okay. So one of the questions about the new dashboard is, what if I accidentally click show all the columns, then realize my mistake? So again, there's a bunch of columns and options available. So they want to revert back to the base columns. So is there a reset button or a return to default? That's good feedback. I think that's something that should be added in case, like, every column is accidentally turned on, because that's going to create somewhat of an overflow of information. So if not, we can email you which columns are there as the base model. We sort that out.
Yeah, that's a great feedback and something we had not considered. I'll bring that up to the to our software team.
Okay. Is there a column that we can select and turn on to sort the projects to see if Vivint has been attached to the project? I believe we can. So let me jump over to I'm going to jump over to the dashboard and see if that's something we can add. Advanced filters. Okay, so smart home.
And then Mark, we're not seeing your screen if you're
Gotcha. My bad.
Or we're seeing the slide deck still.
Okay. So it should be on Safari now. Can everyone see Safari?
Yep, got it.
Okay. So under the advanced filters, I'm choosing the filter type as smart home and status as installed or scheduled. So I can check both of those if I want and click apply filter. So for this project, we did attach that, and I'm going to save that as smart home as my filter. Then I can open that filter and choose that as one of my favorites. Now on that smart home installed or scheduled, we can also choose which package. If you wanted to sort by which specific package your customers have gone with, that's another filter, but there is an advanced filter type for smart home. All right, so we're just scanning through the questions in the chat. Bear with me for a moment while we get to the next one. I'm really new and trying to figure out how to address my first customer's issues of design and adders. Not sure where to start with tickets. So in this instance, if it is a design issue, that would be, Brian, am I right to take advantage of the live chat feature and maybe schedule a call instances where a callback is appropriate?
Yeah, I think a good start there would be to use that feature, talk to someone at Sales Concierge. I think another great resource there would be your sales manager. Sales managers have tons of experience within Lightspeed, Aurora, things like that, and so that would probably be a good first step, is to check in with your sales manager, and if he or she is unavailable, then yeah, feel free to reach out to us via chat, and we'll help you out as best we can.
And also, if you are new and you haven't taken advantage of this feature yet, and we say, hey, use the live chat in Lightspeed on the bottom left-hand side, the chat feature is the bubble on the lower left-hand side. Here's where you can ask questions and request that callback if it escalates to that point.
Another thing that I've seen in the chat, if some people are saying that they're still seeing the old dashboard, they don't see the new updated dashboard yet, always a good best practice to refresh your web browser. The change went live about an hour ago. So if you were previously logged into Lightspeed and haven't refreshed your browser since then, you'll still see the old dashboard. Just quickly refresh on your browser. We'll show you the new dashboard.
When is the webinar going to get posted? I came in a little bit late. We should have this sent out within a couple of hours after we wrap up. We just do a little bit of quick editing and then turn it around and send it out as in case you missed it. Here's a link to the webinar. All right, last question that we have right now is, sometimes when a ticket is created to sales resource, it goes directly to support, and even after it's resolved, it takes a few days to get out of support. Could that be a time frame to get ticket resolved before it goes to support? I'm
sorry, can you repeat that?
So the question in the chat is, sometimes when a ticket is created, it goes directly to support. It makes the project go directly to support, and then it takes a few days to get out of support. What is the time frame if a ticket is resolved to leave support?
Val, I think you're on.
Yeah.
Mark, can you unmute Val, please?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. I got the question. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Good morning. It's all and project still goes into support, and then it takes a year would be you gotta make sure that it's into support, not just one. But if you did resolve all the issues or the tickets that made the project go into support, that should be a 48-hour turnaround time from when you resolved the ticket until we got resolved. With a recent email that started going out last, I want to say a week and a half ago or so, where in the morning you're getting an email digest of all of your open tickets. You guys have definitely been doing a good job of resolving your tickets. So we have seen an increase in the number of tickets marked as resolved by all of you. And so we are a little bit behind, like instead of 48 hours, it's about 3 days right now, but we are actively working on getting those queues down. So it should technically be like no more than 48 hours, and you can hold us to that. If it's not happening, then please escalate to us and we can take a look at them, but it shouldn't be any more than 48 hours.
Thanks, Val. I think we've reached the end of our questions, unless anyone has anything else to drop in. We do have an email address